Number 10. Lord Iron. I will never turn up the chance to talk about Marvel 1602, otherwise known as Earth 311. This Earth takes a bunch of the Marvel characters we love and plops them in the Elizabethan era. And yes, that includes Iron Man. Going by the name Anthony Stark and Lord Iron, his armor is powered by quote-unquote lightning bottles, and was created when Anthony was captured in the Holy Land during the English-Spanish Wars, and treated rather harshly by the Hulk, resulting in the requirement of the suit to survive. Anthony is sent on a mission to hunt down Banner in the New World with his technologically advanced suit. Now look, this suit in comparison to other versions of Iron Man, it's not the most advanced and powerful suit, but when looked at with the scope of the technology at the time, it's centuries ahead of its time, being nearly on par with base Iron Man armors, only it has a super sweet lightning sword. Like, damn bro, it's nice.
Number 9. Original Tony. Technically I'm talking about a version of 616 Tony here, but this isn't even really like the 616 Tony. Not the one we have now anyways, although at one point this was the 616 Tony. This version of Tony ended up getting amalgamated with his younger self to give us the version that we have now, because this version ended up fighting his younger self. Yep, it all happened as part of the Crossing event. Ah yes, the Crossing event, what a marvelous time. During that event it was revealed that Tony was actually a sleeper agent for Immortus, aka an alternate name and persona of Kang the Conqueror's. He is activated and ends up becoming somewhat unstoppable when it comes to the Avengers' power to defeat him, and Kang. Instead they enlist the help of a younger Tony Stark from the past, who actually almost dies fighting against his older self. In the end however, Tony has a change of heart, and he basically sacrifices himself to save his friends and the world from Kang. However, as I said, this version of him would later be resurrected and then amalgamated with the younger Tony, who remained in 616 in his place. Together, they would give us the Tony Stark that we know and love today in the comics.
Number 8. Exiles. Tony Stark, the undisputed monarch of Earth. What? Take a man with the intelligence, wealth, and power of Anthony Stark and make him unbothered by any kind of sense of morality. That's a man who can bring the world to its knees, but has the sense to not let them know it, and then be begged to take charge. Tony Stark of Earth 42777 acquired every world conglomerate. He organized a mutant war against humanity and then defeated their leader, Magneto, created a worldwide famine the likes of which was never seen before, and then invented the cures and vaccines to fix it, and then he got elected president. He developed weather controlling technologies to create biblical level natural disasters in Europe and Asia, having them beg for help to the point of giving up control. Central America and Canada had economic down spirals that brought them into the fold too, and he made a deal with Dr. Doom, who had attacked the Capitol and then taken out all the other democratic leaders in America, who he also destroyed after receiving a blast to the face that left him disfigured just like Emperor Palpatine. He's D-Life the Hulk. This version of Tony Stark is ruthless and powerful. Number 7. Hulk 2099. Spider-Man 2099 is an incredible character and story. The world that Marvel set up in 2099 is just as awesome and brilliant, which led to a bunch of heroes getting 2099 counterparts. Obviously the Hulk had to be one of them. In 2099 you'll find a cult called the Knights of Banner, who are trying their darndest to create a Hulk. Oh, and to get a movie deal, but mainly to get a Hulk. Or a Hulk-like thing. A man named John Eisenhart joins up with the cult, and after an upset cult member triggers a gamma explosion, Eisenhart is transformed into a new version of the Hulk. Now this alternate Hulk is just a smidge different from our regular Hulk. Like, I don't know, his super strong prehensile tongue. That's a big one. His crazy long hair could be considered another. He had sharp teeth and very strong claws, and he also isn't a savage Hulk, so his strength is not limitless. But yeah, I'd still run from this monstrosity. Number 6. Ultimate Universe. Having your mind and body altered by an infinity gem sounds like it could go pretty much anywhere. But fittingly for Tony Stark, it led to him being able to physically and mentally interact with pretty much any computer ever. That's a pretty good ability for someone who flies around in a technological suit of armor. The Antonio Stark of Earth 1610, or the Ultimate Universe, has basically become part man, part machine, being able to project his mind into computers and androids, allowing him to be nigh unkillable, proven when the Master, Reed Richards, seemingly brought his demise, but he became a non-physical entity which could manifest itself via computer systems. When actually physically inhabiting an Iron Man armor, he gains the usual abilities, plus force fields and cloaking. He's also got nanites in his bloodstream that he uses to control his suits, as well as open locks, defuse boom booms, and interact with all forms of tech. This Ultimate Universe Iron Man, like quite a few of the other Ultimate Universe characters, is pretty ultimate.
Number 5. Earth X Black Panther. On Earth X, Black Panther is the one who guards the Cosmic Cube, being noble and powerful enough to be entrusted with such a valuable item of power. Captain America gave him the Cosmic Cube to guard, believing that T'Challa would protect it, even from Captain America himself, if he had to. On Earth 9997, T'Challa would also end up married to Storm, aka Aurora Monroe, and when the Terrigen Mists caused the world to mutate, he would become more Panther-like in appearance. Likewise, the animals in Wakanda would also mutate, and they would actually become more humanoid in appearance. T'Challa from then on referred to them as the Annie-Men, and also believed them to be kind of a manifestation or a symbol of Wakandan gods as well. Black Panther on Earth X, thanks to his further mutation, is actually believed to be even more powerful possibly than his main continuity counterpart.
Number 4. Iron Goblin. Earth 19919, or the Spider Island, basically saw the city of New York taken over by the Spider Queen, who infected millions of people, including heroes, turning them into monstrous spider people. Agent Venom of the Resistance began using other monster transforming techniques. This includes injecting the Hulk with the Lizard Serum, using the Godstone to turn Captain America into a werewolf, and Captain Marvel was turned into a living vampire. For Iron Man, he was sprayed with the Goblin formula, used by Norman Osborn to save him. This gave Tony Stark super strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, reflexes, and a regenerative healing factor. You know, the superhero starter pack of abilities. Plus all the technology of the Iron Man suit. Unfortunately, the serum also has the side effect of making people maniacal, paranoid, irrational, and illogical. Not wanting to go fully insane and to make up for his crimes as an arms dealer, the Goblin Iron Man wielded the Ebony Blade, one of the most powerful weapons in the Marvel Universe, and sacrificed himself to save the Resistance. Number 3. Maestro. I feel like we have talked about him way too many times to count, but for those of you who don't know, Maestro is the dystopian future version of Hulk, the variant of Hulk that haunts his own dreams. He rules over the creatively named city of Dystopia as an incredibly evil and immoral dictator. Years and years of radiation due to the nuclear conflict that spawned this dystopian future had made Maestro sick and villainous, as well as twice as strong as the base level Hulk, but with all the intelligence of Banner to boot. This bearded green behemoth has been a fan favorite character since his introduction in the Future Imperfect storyline, and his backstory, fighting the Human Torch, Doctor Doom, Namor the Submariner, and Abomination, is pretty intense and a fun read. Not to mention his debut where he fights the Incredible Hulk and defeats him like it's absolutely nothing to him. Such a great character. I think he needs to show up in the MCU, like sooner or later, please. Just once. Just one time. Just one time. Number 2. Iron Lantern. Ah, yes, the Amalgam Universe, combining the world's two biggest comic book companies, DC and Marvel. Pitting popular characters from both sides against each other and even fusing some characters together. One incredibly cool amalgamation would be between Iron Man and Green Lantern. Harold Stark, HAL for short, was the founder of Stark Aircraft, and while test flying a prototype aircraft, it suddenly took off on its own to a crashed alien spaceship, and it too crashed. The crash left shards of metal in Stark's chest, which, after meeting the dying alien Romancer, Stark survived using an alien battery, suspiciously in the shape of a lantern, to build a suit of armor. This armor not only kept him alive though, it gave him the ability to create green solid energy constructs, fire plasma bolts, fly at speeds beyond the speed of light, time travel, it granted him almost unlimited telepathic powers, translation of virtually any language, force field generation, and the ever classic superhuman strength and durability. Yeah, he'll put his hand on your chest.
Number 1. Infamous Iron Man. Who is Infamous Iron Man? Well, he's Doctor Doom as Iron Man. I know this might seem like a controversial pick for our top spot, but walk with me, or I guess just stand with me, because I can't really walk anywhere. Dr. Doom, despite being a villain, is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. He's not only a genius, but is the ruler of a nation known as Latveria, wielding all the power of his country, his people, and the nation's resources, as well as being an extremely gifted magic user. In fact, there are even futures where Doom becomes Sorcerer Supreme, and if it weren't for Clea showing up in the 616 universe, he would have become Sorcerer Supreme after Doctor Strange died. Also, a lot of what stops Dr. Doom from winning the day is his role as a heel for the heroes, a villain. So when he decided to take up the mantle of Iron Man in Tony's absence, he became pretty much unstoppable, because now there's no reason for him to technically have to lose battles. He's not a bad guy. Well, he's kind of a bad guy, but he's a good bad guy. Villains even banded together in fear of what action Doom might take against them as Iron Man. And when they did band together, he still showed up and then beat them all. So yeah. Number 10. Azuri. King Azuri is T'Challa's grandfather. He is the father of T'Chaka, who ruled Wakanda during World War II. Before T'Chaka was Black Panther, Azuri was. He was rumored to be a brutal man who basically beheaded anyone who trespassed into Wakanda and possibly hunted outsiders for sport, displaying their heads on spikes. In reality, although he was pretty harsh and had no qualms with killing and beheading those who refused to leave at his behest, he was not completely unreasonable and would only seemingly attack those who actually refused to leave Wakanda. So he wouldn't just straight up kill people usually, he'd just be like, hey, could you get out? If they didn't get out, he's like, well, okay, guess I'm gonna behead you, I guess. When Captain America came to Wakanda, Azuri asked him to leave, and when he refused, they fought. However, it was through this meeting that Azuri would gain some tolerance and respect for outsiders in his land, believing that Captain America could actually be a really good symbol for the US, like Black Panther was for Wakanda. Azuri has powers similar to the Black Panthers who had come before and after him, but was well known for his ruthless nature, having no problems with killing his opponents when he needed to. Number 9. Ultimate Black Panther. In this reality, T'Challa was the younger brother of M'Baku, who was meant to become Black Panther and King instead. Jealous and overconfident, T'Challa decided to take part in the Panther ritual ahead of his time, before M'Baku did. The dangerous trial involved hunting and defeating a Black Panther, and as a result of attempting it, T'Challa was maimed with his throat actually ripped out. The king was worried about losing his son and was forced to reach out to the US for help. They were able to save T'Challa, but Nick Fury also forcibly recruited him into S.H.I.E.L.D., refusing to release him back to Wakanda and his father. And although this sounds really harsh, apparently Fury did believe that it was because, T'Chaka maybe was behind the fact that his son got so injured. Initially, T'Challa was not super gifted when it came to combat, but after training with Captain America, he proved to actually be a really great fighter. This version of T'Challa does not speak, as his vocal cords were severely damaged in the Panther attack, or completely gone. Actually, I think they're completely gone. I feel like if your throat's ripped out, vocal cords probably don't exist. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it, be sure to show your love for Black Panther in the comments below. Number 8. Killmonger. For a short while in the comics, Killmonger took up the mantle of Black Panther. He did so after defeating T'Challa in ritual combat. Pretty impressive considering that T'Challa would still have been Black Panther at this point, and unlike the film version of this fight, didn't actually have to depower himself in order to fight Killmonger in issue 20 of the 1998 Black Panther series, considered volume 3 overall. Although they do have to fight for a long while, even needing to both take breaks, which seems to have a toll on Black Panther's normally heightened senses, and is probably why he lost this fight. Killmonger may have not had the heart-shaped herb, which he did not ingest before adopting the mantle, but he is known for being a brilliant mind in the comics, super strong, and basically a genius inventor. He made plays to try and maintain his power, even trying to get in with the Avengers as T'Challa had previously done, but eventually did himself in by trying to ingest the heart-shaped herb. Due to the fact that in the comics N'Jadaka is not related to T'Challa by blood, the herb poisoned him as he didn't have royal blood in his veins, and he actually ended up in a coma as a result. So it didn't work out well in the end, but he was still able to be a Black Panther, which I think is pretty nuts. Number 7. Superior Iron Man. Superior Iron Man is actually a version of Tony from the main continuity, but he's so devious and fantastic that I had to include him. What can I say? I'm obviously a sucker for an evil villain version of Tony Stark, as this is the second one that I've mentioned on this list. I just feel like Tony has so much potential as an amazing villain, and honestly, I would rather see him as a villain than a hero. I know that might be a hot take, take, but there it is. You might even say he's not just an amazing villain, he's a superior villain. Ho! Superior Iron Man came about as a result of Iron Man avoiding the re-reversal of alignments back to normal near the end of Axis. You see, Scarlet Witch had cast a spell which accidentally inverted the alignment of a good number of Marvel's premium heroes and villains. Well, she meant to invert them, but not all of them. She meant to invert one of them, and then everyone else got affected too. Oops. Among them was Tony. When this was reversed, so Tony would go back from being evil to good once more, the super smart Iron Man found a way to shield himself, resisting the reversal back to being a hero. Instead, he remained a villain who simply passed himself off as a hero. This version of Tony isn't just smart, he's diabolical, and his lack of ethics means he's willing to do things that his regular, more heroic 616 self wouldn't. Number 6. Coal Tiger. T'Chaka II is the son of T'Challa from the MC2 alternate Earth/future. T'Chaka is named after his grandfather, T'Challa's father, which is also why he's the second of that name. T'Chaka can transform into a panther-like human hybrid and goes by the name of Coal Tiger in this universe. In his animal-like form, he is considered even more powerful in terms of his strength, speed, agility, and senses. We don't know who his mother is in this universe, I don't think, but MC2 is a universe filled with heroes' kids who grow up and basically become supers in their own right, such as Spider-Woman, aka May Parker, who also hails from MC2 or Earth 982 and is the daughter of Spider-Man and Mary Jane Watson Parker. And it's also pretty much the reason why we have that universe, which is a cool one, so yay.
Number 5. Venom Hulk. Now, this has happened in the 616 continuity. In Absolute Carnage, Venom abandons Eddie Brock to bond with a more powerful character to take on the null-boosted Carnage, the Hulk. It looks amazing, with Venom barely even being able to fully cover the Hulk's massive body. But while you may think this combo would be a game changer for the heroes, it is ultimately really disappointing as Bruce is dealing with his Devil Hulk persona and Carnage targets this. Hulk reverts back to Banner and then gets his spine ripped out, way too fast. Luckily, we get a slightly less awesome looking version of Venom Hulk. In What If number 4 on Earth 1089, we see a Venom symbiote fully bond with Spider-Man in their first encounter. He feeds off him until he encounters the Hulk. Now, if I was a symbiote and I had the choice between Peter Parker and the Incredible Hulk, I'd probably ditch Peter Parker just like Venom did here. He easily takes over the simpler mind of the Hulk. Venom feeds off the gamma radiation of the Hulk, eventually moving on to Thor, but the potential of this kind of amalgamation is just, I don't know. I think I gotta change my underwear now. Yeah.
Number 4. MCU Black Panther. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Panther was played by Chadwick Boseman up until his untimely death in 2020. While the future of the character remains uncertain in the MCU, what we do know is that with Boseman in the role, T'Challa as Black Panther in the MCU proved to be one of the greatest heroes out there. We saw both his capacity to be an inspirational hero who also listened to those around him, with Nakia helping him to see the benefits of revealing Wakanda's true wealth and power to the world so they could actually help others the world over with their knowledge and their technology. Black Panther also proved himself as a hero, defeating M'Baku when challenged for the throne, and later Killmonger, his cousin, with T'Challa trying his hardest to convince Eric to surrender, not wanting to have to hurt a member of his own family, who T'Challa even felt in the end had pretty much been abandoned by his people. He really actually didn't want to fight Eric. He was like, I mean, I guess if we gotta do this, guess we gotta fight. Aside from that, along with the Avengers, Black Panther fought against Thanos twice and in the end won, saving the Earth from his tyrannical tirades. Number 3. Iron Hammer. Iron Hammer is an amalgamation of Iron Man and Thor from the Pocket Dimension universe known as Warp World. Warp World was created when Gamora gained the power of the Infinity Stones and used them to fold the universe in half, merging souls together in doing so to create amalgamated heroes and villains, then feeding those souls to the Soul Gem. Iron Hammer is Stark Odinson, the son of Howard Odin, who is part businessman, part Asgardian god. Iron Hammer wields a hammer and also wears a spiffy set of armor, having the powers of both the 616 versions of both of these heroes. Number 2. 1 million BC. This Black Panther is actually believed to be the first to have ever existed. He belonged to the Panther tribe and was the one to discover the valuable vibranium meteor, which would later grant the nation of Wakanda their strength via technology. This Black Panther belonged to what is believed to be the first ever Avengers team, the Stone Age Avengers or the 1 million BC Avengers as they are sometimes known. Other than Odin, this Black Panther was the first person to wield Mjolnir, being declared worthy by the hammer and therefore able to do so, which is also pretty crazy. Number 1. Star-Lord. In the Disney Plus animated series What If, we got our own alternate version of Black Panther featured as a main character, also featuring Chadwick Boseman's final MCU performance in the episode where he voiced T'Challa for the last time. Here T'Challa has a different fate. Instead of remaining in Wakanda and eventually becoming king and Black Panther, he is abducted by the Ravagers, with Yondu believing he is the son of Ego that he was sent to Terra, aka Earth, to retrieve. It turns out that Yondu was kind of wrong about that, but aside from that, Yondu also becomes quite attached to this kid. T'Challa joins the Ravagers, excited to explore the cosmos with them, and ends up becoming Star-Lord, a character who is insanely powerful and who basically defeated Thanos with like a simple conversation, convincing him that what he was doing was pretty much wrong. So no snap in this universe. Instead, Thanos ends up actually as Star-Lord's ally, crewmate, and friend, which is also pretty cool.
Number 10. Ultimate Hulk. Just like every villain who is warned not to experiment on himself, the Ultimate Universe Bruce Banner, who thought he perfected the super soldier serum, used it on himself, which had a pretty unfortunate effect. Instead of becoming big and strong like Captain America, he became big and strong like Bull, or like Hulk, I guess, and tore apart the lab he was working in. So already this is a different kind of Hulk. You know, no gamma explosion caused this monstrosity. When he mixed Captain America's serum with his Hulk serum and injected himself though, he became a grey monstrous Hulk and became a bit more villainous. Not necessarily on purpose, but I mean, he ate people, said some pretty not okay things, and rampaged around New York giving the newly formed Ultimates a threat to fight. He did eventually become a bit more of an on-again, off-again hero, even though he allied himself with the Maker at one point. But I mean, at least he wasn't actually as powerful as the original 616 Hulk, which makes him a bit better to deal with. Number 9. Aborigine Hulk. Ever heard of the House of M? When Wanda Maximoff changed reality to make the mutant Magneto the ruler of the world with his family? Well, in this world, when Bruce Banner transformed into the Hulk after the Gamma explosion, it is believed by Mr. Ross that he is a spy of Magneto, and he is hunted down like normal. But not like normal, he travels all the way to Australia, and he settles in with a group of Aboriginals where he becomes a part of their tribe, and finds an inner peace with Banner and the other guy. But of course, the conflict between the mutants and the last remaining resisting humans finds its way to the outback and onto the territory of his Aborigine tribe. With a kind of control over the Hulk persona, Hulk and Banner help the humans halt their persecution by their mutant overlords, eventually helping AIM to rule Australia. There's this really cool moment where Hulk is like using a whale to cover a submarine. It looks amazing, I promise. Just check it out. Number 8. Hulk the End. After what seems to be a nuclear apocalypse has wiped out every other form of human life on the planet Earth, of course, it is the Hulk who is the only one remaining. Kind of fitting, as he has always wanted to be left alone, and now he is alone. Except not fully. Now that every human has left, Hulk is left with one person who won't leave him be, Dr. Bruce Banner. Banner is always there, just kind of on the subconscious background. This version of the Hulk contends against massive mutated cockroaches who eat him, but he always heals and remains alive. It's rather strange how this happens, but at some point in time, Bruce Banner actually passes on inside of the transformed Hulk from a heart attack, and finally lives the Incredible Hulk utterly and totally alone in the world. It's honestly a really depressing story, and it ends just as depressingly, but it is nonetheless an amazing story, and I think if you've never checked it out, you probably should.
Number 7. Shuri. Shuri is actually Black Panther's sister, and I gotta say, I love her as Black Panther. Shuri actually always wanted to be Black Panther ever since she was a young girl. At one point, her brother T'Challa agrees to train Shuri to help her prepare for becoming Black Panther should that day ever come. And come it did, so I guess it's good they did that training. Black Panther at one point becomes the king of the underworld, ruling alongside Bast, and in his place, Shuri is crowned queen, and also takes up the mantle of Black Panther. Like her brother, Shuri is exceptionally smart, strong, and is also a skilled fighter.
Number 6. The Lizard Hulk. In Spider Island, New York has been captured and taken over by an evil spider queen, who not only rules the citizens, but has also turned most of them into mindless spider people. She has even turned a large number of heroes into scary looking spider mutates. Hulk is one of those heroes. Now, while this version of Hulk could honestly make this list, there is a point in the story where Flash Thompson, otherwise known as Agent Venom, who leads a resistance against the Spider Queen and is trying to cure the spider virus, infects Hulk with the blood of Dr. Kurt Connor, or as he is otherwise known, the Lizard. This actually works, and instead of being an arachnid type Hulk, the strongest Avenger becomes a lizard type Hulk. I don't know. He fights alongside a werewolf Steve Rogers, a vampire Carol Danvers, and a green goblin Tony Stark. It's pretty cool. And he himself is pretty impressive. I mean, just look at the power set he now possesses. All his gamma mutated physiological abilities, his limitless strength, and all that loveliness, plus the abilities of the Lizard from 616. Including that sweet tail.
Number 5. Darkhold Iron Man. As we glimpse into the Darkhold, we get to see into the much darker reality of Earth 21129 when it comes to Tony Stark's tale. Here in Darkhold Iron Man, issue number 1, we meet Tony Stark, who becomes obsessed with the armor that he's building, despite the fact that once in said pieces of armor, they cannot be removed, as they bond to Tony in such a way that removing the armor also removes his skin. In essence, we learn that the armor is kinda like feeding on Tony Stark's organic makeup, fully bonding with him. When he wears the helmet, this becomes evident when we learn that skin and bone are melting away, as the suit has, well, no need of them, because they're like, hey, we're armor, so you don't need that. This Tony Stark is eerily powerful as he threatens to take over the world with his technology, offering everyone the infinite and permanent safety of his suits, at the cost of their own organic lives and bodies.
Number 4. Infernal Hulk. I think superheroes need to stop banishing Hulks. It doesn't do anything but make them more mad, and in this case, you turn them into a demon. In the universe of Earth 11638, Bruce Banner has become the Sorcerer Supreme after being Doctor Strange's apprentice. And to sidetrack for a moment, could you imagine Bruce Banner running around like Mickey Mouse in The Sorcerer's Apprentice? You can't tell me that wouldn't be entertaining. Anyways, using the magic he learned, he managed to separate the Hulk persona from himself and send it to hell. For Supreme Sorcerer, you think he would have a bit more forethought. Sending the Hulk to hell managed to get him corrupted by demons, turning him into the Infernal Hulk, and giving him some pretty powerful demonic abilities. Now, after some time, Earth 11638 is visited by the Earth 616 Bruce Banner alongside Deadpool and Spider-Man. The Infernal Hulk clawed his way back into the mortal plane by trading places with the Hulk persona of Earth 616 Bruce Banner. Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Sorcerer Bruce Banner come up with a plan by reversing the spell that banished the Hulk persona and sacrificing Magic Bruce so the Infernal Hulk had nowhere to go, effectively ending the whole thing, and it was all thumbs up after that. I don't know.
Number 3. Ghost Panther. Ghost Panther is a version of the hero who also boasted of the powers of Ghost Rider. He hails from the Infinity Warp reality, which was created when Gamora folded the universe in half using the Infinity Stones. This caused souls in that reality to merge together, creating amalgamated heroes and villains, which also included Ghost Panther. Ghost Panther is T'Challa, who also at one point used the stage name of Johnny Blaze as a stunt motorcycle rider. He has the combined powers of Ghost Rider and Black Panther. Instead of riding a flaming motorcycle though, while in his ghostly form, he rides a flaming giant Black Panther, which is pretty cool.
Number 2. Immortal Hulk. Who knew that all those times Bruce Banner should have lost his life and was saved by the Hulk, he actually did, and was revived. Apparently, all these revivals actually made Hulk more and more powerful, resulting in the Immortal Hulk, which is one of the most powerful versions of the Hulk we have ever seen. He's articulate, he seems to be more intelligent than Banner, and his strength is nearly unrivaled. He can literally smell when someone is lying, which is just kind of insane by itself. But I think the strangest thing is that he will only come out at night, kind of like how the original Hulk did. But now, the Hulk won't even come out to actually save Banner's life anymore. Like when Bruce caught a bullet to the head and was actually lifeless on the ground until nighttime came and the Immortal Hulk came out. The Immortal Hulk storyline is also incredible, and you should absolutely check it out. But just to warn you, while the art is really good, it can be really graphic and kind of freaky at times, so you've been warned. Number 1. Breaker of Worlds. I said the Immortal Hulk was the most powerful Hulk we have been shown, but there is an alternate one shown in the same Immortal Hulk storyline that kind of tops everything else, like ever. In Immortal Hulk, we meet the One Below All, the representative of all destruction and death in the Marvel Universe, and the antithesis to the One Above All, who is basically God. He is an incredibly powerful being who is thankfully trapped in the below place, and exists through gamma mutated dedicated characters like the Hulk and Abomination and all those guys. But not on Earth TRN 781. In this reality, the One Below All managed to destroy the soul of Bruce Banner and take his place inside the Hulk's body, possessing the Hulk. This possessed Hulk goes on a mission of destruction, removing crazy powerful characters like Franklin Richards and Galactus, and consuming them to gain their power, becoming more and more powerful, until he found the sentience of the 8th cosmos, and did the exact same thing to him too. Fast forward about 10 billion years, and the Breaker of Worlds had destroyed all life and all planets in the multiverse. But now we move on to the 9th cosmos, I think. I think that's how that works. I really don't know. All I know, or even understand, is that this version of the Hulk is massive, bigger than the biggest planets, which he destroys with his giant emerald fists. He is empty and hollow and utterly terrifying. A godlike being who transcends understanding. He's sweet. You should check him out.